Good morning. Just gonna wait a few minutes before at least someone joins in. Welcome to another Ask Me a Question Thursday Instagram Lives. So for those of you who don't know what it is, every Thursday I will pick one or many or just a general energy of all of the questions that are sent in to me. Hi Kushi, good to see you. And there's a form in my bio where you can ask me a question, where you can ask me about anything, about your career, relationships, etc., 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 anything, and I'll do my best to facilitate it, to give you like a tool that you can start using immediately from Access Consciousness, and hopefully it contributes to you, because Access Consciousness has completely changed my life. The tools have made it easy. It's been a gift and a contribution like nothing else out there. Yes, I will pick only one question or follow the general energy. Today what I wanted to talk about was, so there were a bunch of questions that were sent in, and even previously, and it was like, how do the general thing is, how do I create more possibilities in my life when it comes to money, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to my body? How do I actually start creating more possibilities and just a space of joy and happiness in my life? Kushi, so the handpan wasn't mine. That was one of my friends. I don't have it anymore. You can ask Charu to show you the handpan. Anyway, digressing. So if you have gone through some of my earlier Instagram lives, which I really suggest that it'll give you an orientation of why I'm talking about the access bars. It's the first class in Access Consciousness that you take. And why is that relevant, and how is that going to facilitate and help bring in more possibilities and everything that you've been asking for? So if you go through some of my earlier Instagram lives, I told you, start making a list of things, of what you actually would like as your life and living. And I've given you some guidelines and some tools and tips of how to start making that list. Okay, not from this realities define every step and control everything. It's a different way of energetically asking for what you truly desire, because everything that you truly desire will always show up not the way you think it's going to. So please go through some of my earlier Instagram lives, because it will give you a sense of how to start creating, how to start asking for everything that you want to create as your life and living. Okay, now as you start asking for things, okay, what is going to show up is you're going to have to face points of views that you have that actually tell you that this is not possible. Okay, all of that stuff will start coming up. So for example, you're asking for a great relationship, but all of your points of views that tell you that that's not possible will start showing up. Like for example, your age, or the fact that you haven't had really nice relationships before, or you don't deserve it, or you're not pretty enough, or whatever. All of these points of views about why you can't have what you're asking for will start sort of showing their ugly faces to you. Alright, so even for money, for example, you're asking for ease and joy with money, but what will happen is, as you start making that list, and please go to my previous lives, as you start making that list, this reality's ugly head will stop, like it'll literally tell you why it's not possible. Okay, why you can't make the money that you desire, or there's a pandemic, and etc., and you can't really, etc. So all of these points of views that either you bought from other people, or you learned, or you took on in some other lifetime, all of those will start showing up. Okay, so this is where the access bars start coming in. It's not a wrong thing for them to show up, because your point of view creates your reality. So now the idea is to sort of remove those points of views from your space, so that you can actually have possibilities show up in your life and living. So that's where the access bars come in. Okay, so access bars are 32 points on your head. They're like acupressure points, but there's no pressure applied, it's just gentle touch. And each point corresponds to a different aspect of your life. Okay, so there is a point on money, there's a point on awareness, there's a point on healing, there's a point on body, there's a point on sexuality, there's etc. different points. Now, these are the places where we've stored all these points of views and beliefs and the rights and the wrongs and the goods and the bads and the impossibilities. Okay, and it all has a cellular memory. You know, as soon as you take on a point of view, or you agree and align to a point of view, or you resist and react to something, you start taking them on and they start getting stored at these places as polarized sort of magnetic and electromagnetic energy. Okay, so I don't want to make it very like scientific and unapproachable. Simply put, each point of view gets stored. Each point of view that you ever bought in about how to create relationships or why it's not possible, about money, about your body, gets stored in these points. So when we place our fingers there, what it does is you're completing like this circuit using your body, and it starts depolarizing all of this. Okay, so in simple words, what the bars does is it starts removing all these unnecessary points of views and limitations and etc. right from the cellular memory of it. Right, so it's a deletion system. So there is no addition. You're not adding anything. It's a complete deletion system of everything that you don't require anymore. Okay, so one session of bars can pretty much change your entire life. Like, I still remember when I went in for my first session, I didn't know what I was going in. I went in for the class directly. So there's a 1-day class, and I went in, I really didn't know this was an Access Consciousness class. I had no clue. I remember my friend just saying, there's some lady who's teaching these 32 points, do you want to come? This was way back in 2012 or 2013. And I remember just being like, I don't know, I'll see, like, if I'm in Pune, we'll go, etc. And I decided midnight, like literally the night before, I decided I'm going to do this. Let's go for the class. So we decided midnight, so we didn't even tell our facilitator that we're coming because it was too late. We actually walked into the class and like, can we come in? And she's like, yes. And it was amazing. I don't know what happened. I remember crying and laughing at the same time, and everything shifted that day. Everything shifted. Like that one day, that one class that she ran my bars, I was a whole different person afterwards, and there's this whole thing that was lifted. Alright, and I keep getting my bars run still. Every time I feel grumpy or anytime I'm feeling a little like low or whatever, to get my bars run, it changes quickly. So what it does is it starts opening up your entire life and living to more possibilities. So you start seeing your changes in 3 days, in 3 weeks, but all these things that seemed impossible for you to create before started showing up. Okay, and every time I find myself in some weird stuck space, I get my bars run, and then I know, okay, this doesn't work for me, what else is possible? Okay, so this is about the bars. Okay, so if you've been asking and it's not showing up, chances are that you have a lot of points of views that tell you that's not possible. Okay, that run somewhere subconsciously, and you're not even cognitively aware that you actually have some of these points of views, and your point of view creates your reality. So you want to change that, you want to delete it, you want to sort of get it out of your system so that you can actually create what you like. Alright, so wherever you are in the world, there are more than 10,000 practitioners and facilitators and all over the world. So find somebody in your area, and you can go on www.accessconsciousness.com and find facilitators in your area, in your country, in your city, wherever you are. I'm like, we're in 175 countries, so you can find someone to get your bars run everywhere. So if you're in a place where you're kind of like in a sticky situation, and even if there's something that you want to change, try the bars. Okay, I'm not talking about drinking bars. Well, you could, but if you want something that really changes, find someone who can run your access consciousness bars. Okay, so go on www.accessconsciousness.com and you'll find a facilitator somewhere, everywhere. Okay, and if you're in Pune, the idea of bars is they have to be run in person, they cannot be done over distance. So if you're in Pune, you can ask me, you can absolutely book an appointment with me as well. So I'm going to leave you with this. What have you truly been asking for? Okay, and for the next 2 or 3 days, pick one of those. Okay, so if it's relationships, if it's money, if it's body, pick one of those areas. Okay, and go back to my previous Instagrams and see how that list is created. Okay, and just stay with that topic, like stay with what you're asking for. And if any of those impossibilities or anything that comes up that and you're trying to like shove it and you don't want to look at it because you want to be aware of all of the crazy points of views that you've bought into, if they're coming up, all right, don't try to control it, don't try to shove them under the carpet, let them surface up. Okay, and just go, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Okay, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Now, doing interesting point of view, what it does is it gets you out of the good, bad, the right and wrong of that point of view. Okay, so if for example you're asking for great relationship, but you're somewhere you've decided it just like there is no kind man out there. Okay, all men are assholes. That's the point of view that a lot of women have. So now if that's your point of view, that's what's going to show up. Okay, so to be very, very real right now. So if that is your point of view, you want to go, interesting point of view, I have this point of view, interesting point of view, I have this point of view. And what that will do is that will remove the charge out of it. It won't be right, wrong, good or bad. Okay, repeat it till it lightens up, till you're not at the effect of that point of view. And I know it sounds too simple for you to remove, but it's actually an amazing tool. It works brilliantly if you use it. So for the next 3 days, okay, pick one topic from your list. And if you don't know what list I'm talking about, repeating myself, go back to my the first and the second Instagram lives, and you'll know what I'm talking about. And do the interesting point of view, I have this point of view, for all of the impossibilities and all the weird points of views that show up when you're asking to create what you're asking for. Alright? Do it till it lightens up, and you're going to have to be very present with this, okay, for every point of view that shows up. And do it till that entire space lightens up. So you may have to repeat it 3 times to about 30 times. Okay, or sometimes even 100 times for that one point of view, but it works. If you use it, if you use these tools, they work and they change. And as soon as it changes, which is what the bars do. Now, interesting point of view is what the bars do, but you will have to be cognitively aware. And what bars does, running your bars, is just remove the whole bunch of it simultaneously. Okay, 5,000 years and more, if you're willing to change that much. So do this. Do interesting point of view for every impossibility that shows up, for every point of view that doesn't allow what you are asking to actualize. Okay, and don't try and shove those points of views back under the carpet. Just, okay, cool, interesting, I have so many weird points of views. Let them show up for the next 3 days and do this, and get your bars run. Get your freaking bars run. Okay, find a practitioner in your area and get your bars run. Okay, it'll change your life. It changed my life. Okay, I would be in a completely different direction today if I hadn't found the bars. So hopefully this helps. And if you have more questions or anything, please ask me. If there's any area in your life you'd like more clarity on, fill up the form in my bio, and I'll address it. I'll do my best to address it in a way that I can address in 15 minutes. Okay, it's a 15-minute live. It's not an entire session, but I'll do my best to give you something that you can begin with. Thank you so much, guys, and